Shalom Yasharala, this your brother Dawada from GMS St. Petersburg, Florida, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rachah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, Akim, pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So I want to jump into this here lesson, basically dealing with Esau Edom, who is the so-called white man, and America, or Babylon the Great, which is America, all right, dealing with their history, all right, a little bit of their history and slavery, all right. So we're going to jump into this here lesson in the book of Ecclesiasticus, also known as the book of Sirach, which is in the Apocrypha, okay. This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 21, verse 8. Now, if you, let's go back. For, just for some of those who, are newly into this here truth and his faith and things like that, we sometimes read out of books that you may not be familiar with, which is the books of the Apocrypha. Okay, now you can simply go on your app store and look up the 1611 Bible. All right, and you'll have the same app here. All right, or you can go get you a 1611 Bible. All right, or you can just go get you an Apocrypha to go along with it. Now, when you look into the 1611 Bible, between the New and the Old Testament, you have what they call the Apocrypha, which are the books that they took out. All right, not going too much into it, but nevertheless, this is, like I said, a different app from what I normally use, which is the Blue Letter Bible. All right. And on that app, you don't have the Apocrypha. But nevertheless, this is where we're going into. You see the books start, Genesis all the way on down into Malachi. Right. Then you have, well, here it goes from Matthew to Revelations. But nevertheless, in between that, you would have First Esdras through Second Maccabees in the middle. All right. So we're going to go into the book of Ecclesiasticus. All right. Let me see. Right. Now, when you go and you read the prologue of Ecclesiasticus, right, it'll tell you that this was, I believe this guy's name was Sirach, all right, which is this, right here. Let me see. The prologue of the wisdom of Jesus, the son of Sirach, all right. But nevertheless, that's why when you hear us say, oh, the book of Sirach, this is because also the name of this here book, Ecclesiasticus, is very similar to the book of Ecclesiastes, right? So you have the book of Ecclesiastes, which is in the Old Testament, and you have the book of Ecclesiasticus. These are two different books, all right? Well, you can't see it on the screen together, but nevertheless, these are two different books. But going into the lesson, all right, we're going to go into the book of Ecclesiasticus, or the book of Sirach, all right? Chapter 21, and we're going to start at verse 8, all right? It says, "He that buildeth his house with other men's money is like one that gathereth himself stones for the tomb of his burial." All right. Now, basically, you digging your own pit, you digging your own grave, more or less to say. All right. That's basically what it's talking about. He gathers stones to build his own burial for his own burial. Right. You basically digging your own grave, man. And why? Because you basically doing something that's how you say sinful, something wrong. It's like saying in modern days today, shit, the man that's going around there having a whole bunch of unprotected sex with all these loose women and whatever, whatnot, how they say it says, is like one that gathers himself stones for the tomb of his burial. Why? Because you running around rampantly having unprotected sex with all these damn loose women, whatever, whatnot, man. You asking for death. You know what I'm saying? You asking for something bad to happen to you, or like, hell, you playing Russian roulette is like him that gathers stones for the tomb of his burial, bro. You looking for death, right? So it says, "He that buildeth his house with other men's money." All right, now let's go on to that. All right, you building a house with somebody else's money, meaning you didn't, again, like we say, you didn't put in on this, man. You went and you took somebody else's wages, you took somebody else's money, or somebody else's, in this case, somebody else's labor, and you used that to build up your own things. All right, this is how America became one of the richest countries on planet Earth. Was from what? You had hundreds of years of free labor. All right. You built up America off of other men's money or labor, more or less to say. All right. You didn't pay for none of this stuff. That's why you hear some so-called black people saying, like, well, we built everything. All this actually belongs unto us because this was all built up off of our backs. You see what I'm saying? All right. So we're going to go from there. Let me read this one more time. Ecclesiasticus, or the book of Sirach, chapter 21, verse 8. "He that buildeth his house with other men's money is like one that gathereth himself stones for the tomb of his burial." All right. So we're going to go to the next precept. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 22. Start at verse 13. All right. It says, woe unto him that buildeth his house. All right. So again, we going into the same subject, building a house. Right now, this isn't talking about, I mean, you can still go into the smaller level, like you actually building up individual home. Right. You're not supposed to be building up your home on somebody else's money, more or less to say, or somebody else's wages or something like that, more or less to say, like, in a smaller level, like, shit, you didn't rob from this person and went and built your house, right? But on a larger scale, which we're getting into, all right, you didn't just build like a single individual house for an individual to live in. You built a whole house, which is America, all right, for you Edomites to dwell in your heaven. We built up your heaven for you, all right? So it says, woe unto him that buildeth his house, or his nation, or his country, or his habitation, all right? Woe unto him that buildeth his house by unrighteousness, and his chambers by wrong, okay? So again, like I said, this, you can talk about, individual house, like, yo, that's wicked on a small level. But in the larger scheme of things, this is what it's talking about. This is what the so-called white man is doing, all right? Woe to him that buildeth his house, or America, by unrighteousness, and his chambers, or his storehouse, or America, by wrong, all right? You didn't build your house righteously, all right? You didn't contract workers, all right? And when you contract workers, you coming into an agreement, all right, a contract with them. All right, look, you build this for me, I'll pay you X amount of dollars in wages. You see what I'm saying? That's a contract. You shouldn't be going to McDonald's, but you go to McDonald's, say, I want a number one. They're like, you got to give us the price that we allotted. Y'all are in contract with one another. All right, I agree to pay X amount of dollars for that. They're number one. You give them the money, they give you the burger. You don't go over there and be like, I want the number one. They just give you the burger with no money, right? You don't go over there and give them money and you don't get no burger from them. You see what I'm saying? So those would be unfair dealings. The fair dealing would be, look, I want that burger. I'm going to give you the money for it. Whoop-de-whoop. We got us a deal, right? But nevertheless, going back into this, Jeremiah 22 and 13, it says, woe unto him that buildeth his house by unrighteousness, and his chambers by wrong, that useth his neighbor's service without wages, and giveth him not for his work. Slavery. You know what I'm saying? You done brought us over here and made us build up your house, or America, all right, this place, and you did it with our service, but without paying us wages for it, all right? When you had the cotton fields and the cotton plantations, we was out there picking cotton for you to sit there and sell and make all this money for. You wasn't paying your employees, all right? Let's put it in perspective in today's terms. Let's say you work at Walmart, right? And you working at Walmart, and you putting in your 40, 50 hours, whatever, however many hours you put in at Walmart, right? And at the end of the week, Walmart say, look, we ain't paying y'all. Why the fuck we got to pay y'all for? But wait a minute, we just brought in billions of dollars for y'all. Y'all ain't gonna pay us? We the ones keep this here. We not paying y'all. You will walk up off of that job. Any job that's gonna take your labor and not pay you for it, you walk up off of it, because you know that's just wicked. Bro, you using me, bro. This is like slavery. I'm just doing work for you. You reaping the benefits and I ain't getting nothing up out of it. All right? It says, Jeremiah 22 and 13, woe unto him that buildeth his house by unrighteousness, and his chambers by wrong, that useth his neighbor's service without wages, and giveth him not for his work. All right. And that's exactly what the situations that we in now. All right. The so-called white man is glorifying about this is America that my forefathers fought for and defended for. We fought for this land, so on and so. No, y'all had us in slavery, and you got this land unjustly. All right, you got you some ill-gotten gains. All right, you can't just be like, yeah, man, look at this new Lamborghini I got, so on and so forth. This motherfucker bad. Yeah, but you rolled up on a motherfucker and shot him and took his shit. You didn't just, get that up off of your own labor and your own wages. No, you didn't do that. You went and you stole that from somebody. You killed somebody else to take their shit. You know what I mean? He worked for it. He labored for it. You just went over and you stole it from him by killing him. All right. Verse 14, that saith, I will build a wide house and large chambers, and cutteth him out windows, and it is sealed with cedar and painted with vermilion. So you done decked out you a nice house. You got the crown, what they call it, the crown molding on the house. Bro, just imagine this, right? Let's just take this out of, again, let's bring this on the lowest level, right? You building an actual house, right? You done went out, the so-called white man, and basically, I'm gonna give you an analogy what he actually does on a low level, but then this is also on a larger level. He's doing the same shit, right? These so-called white people going around, and they'll go in and be like, oh shit, I want to build me a big ass nice mansion. I got the money for it, whatever, whatnot. And he goes out there and they get some Mexicans, so-called Mexicans, to go build up the house. You know what I'm saying? First and foremost, they got some illegal Mexicans, so they ain't even paying them fair wages. First of all, it's not gonna be fair wages, but nevertheless, they even getting even more unfair wages. All right, but nevertheless, you got this big ass decked out ass house with gold crown molding around the rim of the roof. You know what I'm saying? $1 million chandelier in this house and that house and so on and so forth. But you didn't work for none of these. You didn't work for none of this. None of the money that you putting forth into this house, you stole all that. Let's just say hypothetically, you robbed a bank. All right. Then you went and told some so-called Mexicans, hey, I need y'all to build this house for me. I'm gonna pay y'all off, so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, you don't even pay them. But you got this big ass house. You got a big wide mansion. You know what I'm saying? All decked out, gold trimmed, everything. You see what I'm saying? Your house is all extra nice, extra wide. Now you want to brag and boast about how nice your house is. And you want to forget about the fact that you done went and robbed the bank, killed everybody in the bank, stole the money, then went and allowed some so-called Mexicans to build up your house. Then you didn't even pay them off. And now you talking shit about building a wall and kicking them out. You see what I'm saying? This is what the so-called white man does. See, you spoke about in the Bible, you know what I'm saying, to where you can't run from it. I mean, it'd be one thing like the so-called white man. Well, they just changed their name from the so-called white man. Like if they was spoken about in the Bible as the so-called red man, they didn't change their name to the so-called white man. But one thing you can't change is your characteristics and the things you're going to be doing. You see what I'm saying? This is the shit that's just going to be inside of you. You know what I'm saying? Just like, you know, in a carnal sense, you know, Jake, let's just use carnal words, so-called black man, right? Don't want to so-called be identified as a so-called black man, right? But then you get a good beat to come on or whatever, whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Inside your spirit, oh shit, you gonna start moving and moving with it, because why? That's just who you are on the inside, man. You can't hide that. You know what I'm saying? It's like a lion, you know what I mean? In a certain situation, you can so-called tame it, this and that. But at the end of the day, a lion is still gonna be a goddamn lion. You know what I'm saying? If it see or revert back to whatever it's supposed to be getting with, it's gonna go back to its natural state. That's just what it is. You see what I'm saying? So you can't hide none of these things. All right. This is the so-called white man to the T. They don't have to go through and say, oh, the white man did this, the white man did that. No, they're giving you all the descriptions of the so-called white man and the things that he would do. And now what? You look around and you see who's actually doing all these things. It's the so-called white man doing these things. All right. It says, verse 15, thou shalt thou reign because thou clothest thyself in cedar. Did not thy father eat and drink and do judgment and justice, and then it was well with him? He judges the cause of the poor and needy, then it was well with him. Was not this to know me, saith Yahweh? But thy eyes and thy heart are not before thy covetousness, for to shed blood and for oppression and for violence to do it. This is the whole purpose of the so-called white man: to rape, rob, and murder, to be oppressive, to be violent. All right, to shed innocent blood, to steal lands, build up his own, build up a big wide house. All right, a golden house, and reign over top of everybody and oppress everybody that's up under him. All right, this is what the so-called white man has done, and he's currently doing to the same day, man. That's why you want to dominate the whole world. This is the so-called new world order, with him up on top of everybody, ruling over everybody, having everybody in captivity, everybody serving him. All right, this is the history of the so-called white man. This is what he's still doing to the same day. All right, let me go ahead and go from there to shit. Let me go back there real quick, because this is all touching on the same thing. All right, because we just read this in the book of Sirach, talking about woe to him that built the house on another man's money. All right, this one here says Jeremiah 22:13 again. Woe unto him that buildeth his house by unrighteousness, and his chambers by wrong, that uses his neighbor's service without wages and giveth him not for his work. So again, yo, the shit that you over here doing, you gotta pay up, man. All right. And now, you know, for the simple minded, or the ones that don't know, the Most High is not against slavery. All right. That's not the situation here. In fact, slavery is something of the Most High. That's punishment. You see what I'm saying? That's the punishment he put us. Hey, we broke the law, statutes, and commandments, in which he told us in our covenant that he made with us, that he would do this to us. All right. The so-called white man would take us into slavery. However, the so-called white man gonna still get judged for that. And then plus he turned up even more than what he had to do. All right. It's just like, you see Jake out there fighting, right? You know, everybody gathering around, these two Jakes finna fight. You know, it's a square fight because, hey, he was selling him out. All right, let them go ahead and get it up off their chest. Let them fight. Now, one Jake then knocked the other Jake down on the ground, and he about to start ground pounding his ass out. Now, what you think Jake gonna do? The rest of the Jakes are sitting there watching. They gonna all step in and they gonna pull him up off. Hold up, bro. He on the ground. Let his ass get up. If he got more fight, let his ass get up and let him fight. If not, you already got this, bro. Get up off of him now. We ain't gonna sit here and let you stomp his ass out. You already done beat his ass. Time to get up off of him now. You know what I'm saying? Or you know what I'm saying? When you see Jake around in certain fights and somebody got the best of the other person, they step in, but it's over with, bro. That's enough. That's enough. You know what I'm saying? Even if it be their own homeboys. And they be like, man, this motherfucker was selling you out, so on and so forth. And they homie to knock this dude out. And he's trying to go even further with it. You know what I'm saying? His own homies, nah, bro, it's over with. Just back up. Let him up. Let him up. That's so it's over with, right? But see, Esau got to that point. He kept kicking us while we was down. All right. He didn't already knock us out. Now he running our pockets and selling our shit, bro. Making mockery over top of us. That's what he get, you know, that's where, you know, more and more, this is just stacking up on top of him. You see what I'm saying? But nevertheless, going back into this, you know, stealing the lands and taking us into captivity and further oppressing us, man. The Most High saying, look, bro, you doing things all wrong, bro. Just like you're talking about building a man, verse 13 again, Jeremiah 22:13. Woe to him that buildeth his house by unrighteousness and his chambers by wrong, that uses his neighbor's service without wages and giveth him not for his work. Now, we have a law of slavery, like it's lawful for Israelites, like, for instance, a so-called black man to take another so-called black man into slavery, right? Now, this isn't the type of slavery that you talk about and you think about, all right? Now, there's nothing wrong with slavery according to the Bible, right? Slavery is more or less just like employment, right? You're going to go get a job. That's true slavery. Like I said, the so-called black man could take another so-called black man into slavery, but you can't, what the so-called white man did to us is not called slavery. That shit is called oppression and violence. That motherfucker is the devil. That shit is not called for, right? We going to talking about slavery and stuff, right? You weren't supposed to be oppressing and beating down your damn slaves and shit, breaking their arms and legs and shit like that. You ain't supposed to be doing no shit like that. And then also you're supposed to be paying your slaves, and you're supposed to pay them before the sun went down. All right. And we had a year of redemption where we could redeem one of our brothers out of slavery. Basically, it's like, yo, I'm gonna lend you my service. I done fell into debt some kind of way. I'm gonna put myself in a service. I'm gonna lend out my services unto you till you pay off my debt. It's like modern day's term. Like, look, check it out. Me as a so-called black man, right? I done fucked up with my bills or whatever. I done got behind on my car payments and my credit cards, right? And I come up to one of my other brethren, another so-called black man, right? Like, yo, bro, I done fucked up with my bills and I'm up underwater right now. I need you to help me out. I need about, let's say, 5 stacks, right? He'd be like, all right, cool. I'll give you the 5 stacks. You know what I'm saying? Just pay me back. Obviously, you ain't got the fucking money, because if you did, you wouldn't be asking me for the money. So what are we going to do in return? Well, shit, you need the 5 stacks, and I need somebody to go over here and do this here job for me, plow my land or whatever, whatnot. I need somebody to help me rebuild the motor of my car. All right, bro, I'll help you rebuild the motor of your car if you wind up giving me this here money so I can go ahead and pay off my shit. You see what I'm saying? And like I said, you could redeem your brother after a certain amount of time. Right? I believe it was like 6 years or something like that. And then if that brother if he liked his slave master or his employer, right, he could work for him indefinite. Be like, yo, man, I'm making good money working for homeboy. He treat me good. Everything is good. You know what I'm saying? We got a little business going. All right. That would be righteous slavery and righteousness, you know, taking your brothers in captivity and thing like that. Not to say in captivity. All right. But giving them jobs, you know what I'm saying? More or less, because they wasn't in the state. They didn't have a business of their own, more or less to say. They was trying to get up on their feet. All right. And that's just how the Most High had it set up. However, what the so-called white man did unto us, that's completely different. All right. That shit, I wouldn't even call that shit slavery at all. All right. They didn't give slavery a so-called bad name. You know, when you go to a job, you basically a slave. You're an employee. All right. And you working for an employer, or you a slave working for a slave master. All right. But you know what I'm saying? They still do it wickedly where they not paying you like they're supposed to be paying you and things like that. But nevertheless, that's more or less how you say real slavery. All right. Now, the shit that the so-called white man done to us, that's oppression, rape, robbery, and murder. All right. It says, let me jump to verse 16. It says, he judged the cause of the poor and needy. Then it was well with him. Was this not to know me, saith Yahweh? But thy eyes and thy heart are not but for thy covetousness, for to shed blood and for oppression and for violence to do it. So you want your eyes and you know, and your heart, with your main, like, look, how I say, let me put it this way, man, my only My only plan and my only plot, man, my only desire, there you go. My only desire is to be able to get gains. You know what I'm saying? I want to gain the world, more or less to say. And in order, and the way you choosing to gain the world is through what? Rape, robbery, and murder. All right, you want to be on top, but you don't want to get on top in a so-called righteous fashion. You know, like at a job, you want to get on top and be the boss of the job, but you don't want to work from the ground up and make the right business decisions to get up on top. You want to come in to the business and go over there and start lying on employees, getting this person fired, that person fired, putting hits out on these people and moving on up. That's unrighteousness. All right, that's what the so-called white man is doing. All right. Now from here, we're going to go to the book of Habakkuk. This is Habakkuk 2, and I'm going to start at verse 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by faith. Yeah, the soul which is lifted up is not upright in him. So homeboy is all proud for no damn reason. All right, he proud because, not to say he proud because he the devil, but he proud, you know what I'm saying? But look at all his actions. This motherfucker's the devil. Rape, robbery, and murder. That's all he does. Like, who should be proud about that? You know, it's like you a serial rapist and raped up a whole fucking nation of people, like physically raping up a whole neighborhood. Let's just say you didn't rape the whole block, right? And you over here bragging and boasting about that. Like, nigga, you might need to calm the fuck down. You over here, yeah, I didn't rape this child, this person, that person. I'm like, nigga, you over here bragging and boasting about the shit that you doing. You proud about it, but you not even righteous with the shit that you doing. Who should be proud of? Who's proud about raping children? Only the damn devil would be proud about some shit like that. Who proud about raping and robbing and murdering nations and bombing people and enslaving people? Only the so-called white man is proud about his evil deeds, man, because he's the damn devil, man. All right. Verse 5, yea, also because he transgresses by wine, all right, his philosophies and his doctrines and things like that, lying to the people with his deceitful ass tongue. That's why we call you the devil. He is a proud man, all right. Oh, yeah, I'm the so-called white man. I do all this and that. Who gonna bring me down? He's the white man. He's proud. God himself can't sink this ship. God himself can't do this and that. I'm better than God. It's the so-called white man telling you these types of things. All right. It says he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. He don't stay in his own habitation. He's always in somebody else's country, in somebody else's land. Always got his hand in somebody else's cookie jar, man. That's the so-called white man. He always in somebody else's business. All right. It says, who enlarges his desire as hell, and his death cannot be satisfied. All right. He enlarges his desire as hell. All right. And as death cannot be satisfied. Just like the grave, right? The grave can never be satisfied. As long as there's women on the planet Earth giving birth, there's always going to be people to go down into the grave. As long as there's people being born, there's always going to be people to be dying. You see what I'm saying? Same with the so-called white man. The grave ain't never satisfied. As long as there's human beings on this planet Earth, the grave going to keep filling up. Same with the so-called white man. Just like death, he ain't never satisfied. He want more and more and more and more. Greedy and gluttonous. You know, this is the so-called white man. All right. It says, but he gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Right. So what nation is doing this? First of all, when these scoffers and these losers is talking about this the so-called Arabs or the Saudi Arabians or anybody else, Japhet, whatever, whatnot, man. It's like, hold on, who the fuck is these Arabs gathering unto themselves? For the most part, the Arabs is only really dealing with the Arabs. All right. Now, some of the sellout Arabs is dealing with America, like Saudi Arabia. They dealing with America. But for the most part, they not gathering all these other nations unto them. All right. It's America that's gathering all these nations unto them. Only here in America can you find a neighborhood pretty much that is exclusive for certain groups of people. Like here in America, you can find Arab neighborhoods. Here in America, you can find Chinese neighborhoods. Here in America, you can find Russian neighborhoods. All right. You can find all these different cultures or so-called races of people that have their own little neighborhoods here in America. All right. Now, despite the beyond the fact that the Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, none of these other countries got neighborhoods like that for a whole slew of different people, like in China, right? Now I'm pretty sure you do have Arabs that live in China, like actual Arabs, not Islamic people who follow the Islamic religion, but actual Arabs that live in China. I'm pretty sure you probably have some of those people over there. Pretty sure you have Russians that live in China, so on and so forth. But you don't have big neighborhoods and communities of these people, and then the Arabs in every country. You see what I'm saying? Like, fuck, you don't got big groups of Arabs living in what they will call the portion of Israel, right? You don't have them over there in the portion of Israel, but yet you still have Israelites over there, actual Israelites over there dwelling with those Israelis. You see what I'm saying? But nevertheless, the so-called white man is on damn near every landmass and in everybody else's home. All right. It's the so-called white man in all these other nations. All right. But it says, but he gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people. All right. Now going to the Tower of Babylon, Genesis chapter 6, right? I believe it's Genesis chapter. So let me double check. No, it wasn't Genesis 6. I want to say 9. Nope, 11. Salakia. Khan. Genesis 11, right? Let me just get to the point. This is Genesis 11:6. And Yahweh said, behold, the people is one. They all have one language. And this they begin to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them to do which they have imagined to do. All right. Go, let us go down and there confound their language that they may not understand one another's speech. All right. Verse 8. So Yahweh scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth. And they left off to build the city. All right. So the Most High had to basically how do you say, change up their language, you know? And what was going on was they all was speaking in one consent, one language, they all had, how do I put this? Not to say they was all speaking the same language, you know, like we all speaking English. Oh, it's a problem if the whole earth is speaking English. That's not what it's talking about. What it's talking about is all with one consent. They all got one consent to do the same damn thing, you know? And that's the problem when you have one person ruling over the whole planet Earth. You can't have nothing like that, like you can't have one person ruling over everybody on the planet Earth, save Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah Ba'Hashem Rakakudash through the kingdom of Israel on down. All right. The Most High, his son, King David, the 12 on down. That's going to be the only, how you say, one world government. All right. That's going to be in righteousness. All right. But other than that, you can't have this because of why? They're going to all have one tongue and one language. Not to say that they all speaking like, let's say English, but they all got one consent. So imagine if the so-called white man was actually in rulership over top, the earth is given to the so-called white man. But as you see, all right, his kingdom is starting to collapse. But however, if he was to have complete 100% dominance over every damn thing, right? Controlled everybody, right? They was all in one consent, one accord with all of his doctrines. All right. As you see now, he's spreading his things, the LGBT community around the world, to all the people that's already drinking that Babylon juice, following after his philosophies. All right. You see what's going on now. Imagine the so-called white man ruling over everybody under his philosophies. Everybody's under his religion. Now the whole globe is homosexuals. Now nobody's reproducing. Now the whole planet is getting a 0% population growth. You see what I'm saying? This is the problem of having one person ruling over the whole planet Earth, the whole globe. All right. You're not supposed to have that happen, except for, like I said, when the Most High set his son up, Yahweh Shah. All right. And then Yahweh Shah, under him, King David the 12, so on and so forth, the kingdom of Israel. When we reign, that's going to be the only time you have, like, more or less to say, one person reigning up on top of everybody else. All right. One tongue, one nation, one consent. It's going to all be in righteousness. All right. Anything else, if everybody else was like that, it'd be all wickedness all around, especially if the so-called white man, was in rulership. All right. So let's go back to Habakkuk 2 and 5. Yea, also because he transgresses Bawan, his philosophies and his doctrine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. All right. He keep going everywhere else, you know, got his hand in everybody else's cookie jar. Who enlarges his desire as hell, and his depth cannot be satisfied. He ain't satisfied with just living in here in America and ruling here in America and his people. He got to rule the whole planet Earth. All right. He ain't satisfied with having just the resources that you can get here in America, which you can pretty much get all the resources from here in America. But what? He want to get them from everywhere else too. All right. It says, but he gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people. Now he bringing these people over unto himself. All right. Not to be side by side with him and everybody ruling on the same level as him. He not bringing the Chinese people over here to be partners with him. He not bringing the Arabs over here to be partners with him. No, he bringing these motherfuckers over here to reign on top of their ass too, man. He bringing everybody up under his umbrella to reign on top of them. Oh yeah, we're going to do some dealings with the Chinese. We're going to do some dealings with the Arabs. We're going to come together with these motherfuckers. They're not coming together to be side by side. No, they coming together to reign on top of these. The so-called white man is bringing these people up under him to reign over top of them. All right. This is what it's talking about, him heaping unto him all people. All right. Not to have a so-called melting pot like which America is the melting pot. That's also in the scriptures. But nevertheless, you bring these people unto you and up under you to reign over top of them. Not for them to be equal unto you over here in this land match. Yeah, we want the Chinese to be equal with the white man here. No, hell no. All right. Verse 6, shall not all these take up a parable against him, a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. All right. Like, yo, man, chill out, bro. You keep trying to, how you say, advance or increase. That's what's not yours. Like, i.e. stealing lands. Like, damn, bro. Right now you in the news trying to steal Venezuela, set up your own shit. Why don't you worry about your shit at home, man? Why you always in somebody else's country stealing their shit, man? Woe to him that's always got their hand in somebody else's cookie jar, man. Chill out, bro. You always running through, just like, you know, you got a Jake, what's that dude, Ezel off of Friday. Damn, bro, you always robbing and stealing somebody else's shit. Chill out, man. You always got your hand in somebody else's cookie jar, bro. Chill your ass out, man. You always stealing somebody else's shit, man. This is the so-called white man, all right? That's what everybody's saying to him right now. Like, damn, haven't you not raped? Haven't you not plundered? Haven't you not oppressed and killed? Haven't you not blown up the whole planet Earth? All right, this is what was being spoken into the so-called white man in these times, all right? Shall not all these take up a parable against him, a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long to him that ladeth himself with thick clay? The thick clay is what? This debt that he got, all right? Now, America is like the world's richest country, all right? But nevertheless, it's also the country with the most debt, all right? So it says, and to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. All right, you talking about all this damn debt that you got going on. Just imagine we bring it down to a smaller level, right? Me and you talking, and you over here bragging and boasting. Yeah, bro, I got this, got the new J's, got the new Lamborghini, got this, and that. I'm like, damn, bro, you might need to chill out, bro. I know you getting all this shit from all them damn credit cards. You keep signing up for credit cards and buying all this shit, maxing them out. Every time they send you a new credit card, you filling out, or you online just apply, getting all these credit cards and you maxing them all out. And we like, damn, bro, chill, bro. Cause you over here running up these credit cards and you can't pay none of this shit back, bro. They finna start taking all your shit, you know, whatever you had before you had these credit cards, that house that you know, actually worked hard for to get and paid it off and so on and so forth. You finna lose all of that shit, bro. Because you pulling out all this here debt, so on and so forth. And eventually you're gonna have to pay all this here back. All right. Verse 7. Shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them? All right, so these other nations are going to wind up spoiling you because why? You always got your hand in a cookie jar. Eventually, somebody going to slap that hand and take your shit. All right, verse 8, because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee. All right, because you going around rape, robbing, and murdering all these other nations. Everybody else is like, you know what? Fuck that. We ain't going to take this shit no more. We're going to band together and we're going to run through his shit. All right. Because of men's blood and for the violence of the land of the city and all that dwell therein. All right. So, hey, you about to catch a judgment for all the violence, rape, robbing, and murdering and slavery that you done committed, not just here on this here landmass here in America, but also around the rest of the globe. All right. Verse 9, going back into what we was going into in the book of Sirach and also in the book of Jeremiah. Woe to him that covet. Now, I can never pronounce these words. Woe to him that coveteth an evil covetousness unto his house, or woe to him that desire evil desire unto his own house. Like you desire something. I always give this here analogy. Let me read this all the way through. It says, woe to him that coveteth an evil covetousness to his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. Thou hast consulted shame to thy house by cutting off many people, and hast sinned against thy soul. So, to give you a different analogy about this, you know, it's saying like, woe to him that basically covet the evil covetousness to his house, right? That he may set his nest on high. So imagine you living in your mom and dad's house, right? Your mom and pops is going to work, doing whatever they can to so-called keep a roof over your head and do things legal and legit. You want to go out there and become Tony Montana, start selling cocaine and shit, right? Now you going all out there, you trying to stack money, man. I'm trying to get this bag, bro. I'm trying to get, you know what I'm saying, a mill, bro. I'm trying to get a Lamborghini, so on and so forth. But you trapping out your mama and your dad's house, right? Now the police done caught your ass, right? Now they going in and seizing all your shit. They done took all the gains that you done got from selling drugs. Not only that, they done went and took your mama and your dad's house, right? Because why? You was trapping up out of their house, and they don't know if that money came from that. So now your parents done lost the house that they didn't rightfully worked hard for, because you want to be out there selling dope because you desire to get this here bag and become rich and famous and whatever, whatnot, get this Lamborghini and this mansion. Your desire is to get all these riches and this and that, but you going about it in an evil way. And not only are you bringing harm into yourself, you're bringing harm into other people as well, too. All right. Those are your own household or your own, your relatives, your family, your own people. Right. That's just an analogy, you know, on a small level of, you know, somebody doing that in their own household. Now bring this up to a bigger scenario. Instead of not a house, right, that your parents has gotten and put together, whatever, whatnot, that would be this so-called race of people, so-called white man. All right. You got some low-level Edomites that, you know what I'm saying, they ain't out here actively participating in none of this here shit that they got going. Well, they always actively participating if they ain't telling you you're an Israelite and just coming up out of all they shit. You know what I'm saying? As soon as they see you, they should be bowing down to you and giving you everything that they got and just serving you as they, like you are their God. If it's so-called white man ain't coming up to, if these Edomites ain't coming up to you doing that, then they just as wicked as the ones that's got you in captivity. But nevertheless, on just a smaller level, you know what I'm saying? These regular ass Edomites, you know what I'm saying? This, you know, might be helping you out, giving you some money, whatever, whatnot. They just as guilty as the regular ass elite white man. All right, because he didn't consult this against his whole house, the Edomites. All right, the Most High not gonna just judge the damn Rothschilds. All right, you Rothschilds, y'all was the elites and so on and so forth. Blah 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 blah. I'm gonna punish just y'all and turn a blind eye to the rest of these so-called white people who was benefiting off of y'all atrocities. No, Joe Schmo bum ass Edomite, he gonna catch this damn almost the same damn judgment as these Rothschilds. Now I say it that way because the Rothschilds, they actually going into captivity, they going into slavery, they're gonna be the first fruits, whereas the rest of these other Edomites, they're gonna either die by famine, race wars, or thermonuclear missiles. All right, they're gonna die some other way. All right, but they're gonna be born back through these Rothschilds. All right, or in these elites. All right, but nevertheless, hey man, hey, you regular ass Edomites is just mad and crying and talking about why we got to catch it like the rest of these people. I didn't do this. My forefathers didn't do this or whatever, whatnot. If that's what you want to believe, even though you are your forefathers, but and hell, even if your forefathers didn't own slaves, you might as well go ahead and go ham on the rest of these Edomites because they got you fucked up too. Just like all you Jakes that grew up around your grandmama and stuff. Like if you're around my age, you probably grew up the same way, you know, whereas, you know, like my grandma had like 7 to 10 grandkids or whatever, whatnot. And if one of us got in trouble, we all got in trouble. One of us want to be getting out of line and cutting up and running through the house and doing some shit that you know what I'm saying, that we wasn't supposed to be doing. Even if the rest of us is telling that other sibling or whatever, whatnot, hey, chill out, whatever, whatnot. Or even if we went and we told on that sibling, we all got in trouble. First of all, that one was getting in trouble for what they was doing. The rest of us got in trouble for telling on them or whatever. We was all getting a beating. If one of us got a beating, we all got a beating. You see what I'm saying? So that's just how it was. No matter how individual that whatever the crime was, you know what I'm saying? One of my cousins might have, let's say, whatever. One of my cousins might have did whatever, you know. They weren't supposed to be doing such on and so forth, you know. We all got it. You see what I'm saying? The same way the Most High is saying here, man. Hey, man, all y'all gonna wind up getting it. Be like, yo, man, these elites got it down for you low levels, motherfuckers. Y'all gonna catch it because of the shit they was doing too. All right. And really, it goes deeper than that because they Edomites. They are the seed of Esau, Edom. All right. And the Most High said he gonna basically destroy all of them, every last one of them. All right. So going back up to Habakkuk 2:9. It says, woe to him that coveteth and evil covetousness to his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. Thou hast consulted shame to thy house by cutting off many people and hast sinned against thy soul. And yeah, just like I was just explaining, yeah, these elites, the presidents and the military and the government is the one that's actually going inside of these other nations and blowing them up and so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? It might not be just, Tommy down the block. He might just be in college or in elementary school, middle school or whatever, whatnot. He might not got shit to do with the military, the government, or none of that shit. He might not even know where the fuck Iran is at. You see what I'm saying? But guess what? When that judgment come down, little Timmy or Tommy, his ass catching it too, just like the motherfuckers that was over there actively plundering into those nations. All right? Continuing on. Jump to verse 12. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood and establish a city by iniquity. All right. I'll just go verse by verse. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood and established a city by iniquity, like we was reading in Sirach, right? And also in Jeremiah. Woe to him that buildeth a town by blood and established a city by iniquity. How did America get built? First and foremost, you had to come over here. You came over here and you started a how you say, genociding the so-called Native American Indians, all right, the Northern Kingdom. You started genociding their ass. Then you took their ass into slavery, all right? That's something that a lot of you Northern Kingdom, you so-called Native Americans, you so-called Latinos, all right, that you don't realize. Your ass went into slavery first, just like in the old days. When y'all went to Assyria into captivity first, hey, y'all went into captivity over here first as well, too, in America, all right, under the so-called white man, all right? And we wound up getting it worse because wow, we seen y'all catch that. Just like I was saying, my growing up with my cousins and shit like that, man, we would get a double beating if we seen one of our little cousins go off and go do some shit, right? And they got a beating for it, which we was all getting a beating for it. And then we turned around and did the same shit. Our parents or our grandparents would be like, yo, didn't you just learn? I just beat they ass and all of y'all for the same crime that they did. And you want to turn around and do the same shit? All right, it's the same deal here. All right. But nevertheless, the so-called white man, this is the so-called white man's doing, all right? It says, woe to him that buildeth the town with blood and established the city on iniquity. Because why? He came over to the Americas, genocided the Native Americans, put them into captivity. Then what? He brought us over and put us into captivity for an even longer time, all right? And built this whole place up off of the backs of the Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, all right? So woe to him that built a town or a city or a house. This is all going to the same thing. America, you built up America. How was America built up? All right. It wasn't from the blood, sweat, and tears. Well, it was of the blood, sweat, and tears of the so-called white man. The blood that it was spilling on his goddamn clothes from him, also breaking the sweat, cracking that whip on Jake back. All right. But he wasn't shedding his blood. He wasn't shedding his sweat. None of that to build up this here town. He had slaves to do all this for him. He had us, the Israelites, to do this for him. All right. Woe to him that buildeth the town with blood and established the city by iniquity. Behold, is it not of Yahweh of hosts that the people shall labor in the very fire, and the people shall weary themselves for the very vanities? Yeah, so, hey man, these damn people over here, that's these Edomites over here that's proud about this land, talking about their fathers fought for this land, so on and so forth. All right, man. Y'all done built up this here town off of blood, rape, robbery, and murder, this and that, talking about how y'all done fought for this land, y'all did this and that. But at the end of the day, we're going to see if you really win the ultimate war for this here landmass. You're going to wind up being, how do I say, joined unto this land. The dust of this land going to be joined with the dust of your goddamn bones when it be turned into the lake of fire from these thermonuclear missiles. All right. You've been over here rape, robbing, and murdering on this here land. Your ass going to be a part of this land soon. All right. It says, verse 14, for the earth shall be filled with the knowledge and the glory of Yahweh as the waters covered the sea. Verse 15, woe to him that giveth his neighbor drink, that putteth thy bottle to him, that maketh him drunken, also that thou may lookest on his nakedness. All right. Thou art filled with the shame of the glory. Drink thou also, let thy foreskin be uncovered, for the cup of Yahweh's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing and glory. So going back up, hold on, Salakia. Yeah, going back up to verse 15, woe to him that giveth his neighbor drink, and putteth thy bottle to him, that maketh him drunken, also that he may look upon their nakedness. Now, in a small level, they did this actually to the Native Americans, all right? Brought them over this alcohol and shit like that, and hey, you see them on the reservations now still with that. But nevertheless, let me give you an analogy, right? Well, the real analogy to this is, you know, you have people, fuck it, you got people, women, they tell women when they go out to these bars and these clubs, watch your drink, all right? Because you have some men that'll go over and put these, date rape drugs inside these drinks or whatever, whatnot, and take advantage of you. All right. They get you more or less to say drunk or drugged so they can take advantage of you, so they can uncover your nakedness. Not necessarily talking about, you know, your bare naked ass body. And, you know, in the analogy I'm giving, yeah, they trying to uncover your bare naked ass body to have sex with you. All right. Take advantage of you. But this is the analogy. Look, bro, you trying to get me drunk so you can take advantage of me. You trying to slip a roofie or a date rape drug into my drink to take advantage of me. But not in a more or less a sexual way. But look, we're going to come over here to these Native Americans. We're going to make all these treaties with them. We're going to make all these different pacts with them. But then they wind up doing what? Breaking all the treaties with them. Just like they're doing today with the INF treaty. All right. What do you call it? The nuclear treaty with North Korea. You see what I'm saying? They always breaking their own treaties and their own laws and the different things that they sign into to their own into power. But what? You do this by what? It says, woe to him that giveth his neighbor drink, that he putteth thy bottle to him, that maketh him drunken, also that they may look upon their nakedness. So, for instance, right, the so-called white man came over to the Native Americans, all right? Like, listen, we're going to give y'all some how do you say, we're gonna give you a gift to destroy your heart, like the scriptures say. When they came over here, they didn't just, we're gonna start killing off rip like that. Nah, they first, because the so-called white man couldn't survive on this here land. They didn't know how to plant and none of that stuff over here and live off of this here land and this place. The Native Americans wound up teaching them, all right, and befriending them, all right. They also had some Hebrew interpreters, all right, to come over here to talk to the Native Americans because they were speaking Hebrew, all right. And then also they used some of the Native Americans also to fight against other Native Americans, all right. But nevertheless, the so-called white man was lying to these people, all right, deceiving these people to help him work for them. And at the end of the day, he wound up stealing all their land. If the so-called natives could see where they would, you know, what the outcome would be in today's time, they'd be like, hell nah, no matter how many gifts or whatever he's trying to give us, he's a damn devil, man. He just, how you say, giving us this, he drugging our drink to take advantage of us. Because if we was in our sober mind, we wouldn't lay down and have sex with him. We wouldn't have no dealing with him. You see what I'm saying? So therefore, he has to give us this date rape drug so that our guards will be down and he can take advantage of us. All right. This is how they do it in modern days, today's time, right? Like with the economic collapse of 2008, right? They got a lot of Jake in that by what? Oh yeah, we want you Jakes to have houses and subprime mortgages, whatever, whatnot. We want y'all to start owning some property, right? Jake really didn't have much of nothing, but they wound up giving you loans to be able to get something. Then they wound up taking all that you had to begin with and then some and put you in the worst situations because now your credit fucked up, right? But what? In order for him to get, put you into that bamboozlement, he had to do what? Put that bottle to your lips for you to drink. He had to get you drunk. He had to drug you first. Yeah. We want y'all to be up on top. You know what I'm saying? We trying to get y'all to own your own house for the first time in history and so on and so forth. Yeah, that's that bottle of those drugs he giving you, right? To drug you. Then once you get up in there and you start sobering up, he start reeling your ass in, you know? Let me just let me read verse 16. It says, thou art filled with shame for glory. All right. Thou art filled with shame for glory. Yeah. Look at America and all the things that we got here. America's so great. It's the #1 country. There's no country like America. That's you glorifying in that. But how did you get America? How did America get established? See, your glory is really shameful. You became the greatest nation on the earth by what? Slavery, rape, robbery, and murder. All right. This is how you became this great nation through all your evil atrocities, your evil history. All right. It says, for thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of Yahweh's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. Slakia. But nevertheless, yeah, you're going to have to wind up paying back for all the different things you've done, this rape, robbery, and murder. All right, stealing of the Israelites and enslaving them. Breaking your treaties. Let me grab that real quick. I think it's Isaiah 33:1. Yep. Isaiah 33:1. Woe to thee that spoilest, and thou wast not spoiled. All right. Because why? You going around rape, robbing, and murdering everybody else, and ain't nobody did this to you. You just doing it to them. You pushing up on everybody else, and nobody pushing up on you. Woe to him that spoilest, and thou wast not spoiled. Thou dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. So what? The so-called Native Americans, when you came over here, the so-called Native Americans taught your bitch ass how to farm, taught you how to survive over here, taught you how to survive through the winters and things like that. What did you do in return to them? You gave them gifts of what? Blankets. What was on the blankets? Smallpox, creating chemical warfare. You brought a bunch of diseases over here. All right. Now, this was all part of the Most High's plans and things like that. But nevertheless, yo, bro, your ass is guilty as charged, man. This is what you was over here doing, man. You were spoiling and was not spoiled. You dealing treacherously and they didn't deal treacherously with you. They was nice to you, but you wound up shitting on them. All right. They taught you how to farm, how to survive over here. And then what you wound up doing, killing them all off. All right. And you cut off their food supply to buffaloes and things like that. You see what I'm saying? All right. It says, let me just read verse 1 again for time's sake. Woe unto thee that spoilest, and thou wast not spoiled, and dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. When thou shalt cease to spoil, all right, and that's the time frame that we in now. All right, America been rape, robbing, and murdering this whole time since its existence, all the way up until now, establishing itself as the #1 superpower in the world. All right, the sole the sole recipient of the planet Earth, basically saying, you know, the king of the whole earth. All right. He been doing this all the way up until now, rape, robbing, and murdering, all the way up till he got to the top. Right. But it says, and when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, now the so-called white man is trying to have, because he got everybody in subjection up under him. Now he want to have peace with everybody else. Well, Salakia, he want everybody to have peace with him because everybody is mad that he the bully, right? He didn't win and knocked everybody else out on the block, and he didn't solidify himself as the champ, right? He wearing the belt, he the champion, this and that now, but now he don't want to defend his title because everybody mad and looking up. He like, you know what? We could all just play it cool. I just want to go ahead and retire as undefeated. You know what I'm saying? And go down in history as this and that. Like, I want to be peaceful with everybody now. I want everybody to be peace with me. Let's all be forgiven. Let's get rid of these nuclear powers. Let's get rid of warfare. Let's get rid of these borders. Let's get rid of everybody trying to fight with this and that. Let's get rid of these ideologies and so on and so forth to maintain and keep the establishment of the so-called white man on top. Because as long as everybody else has got their dealings, they all got that sore taste in their mouth still from what the so-called white man did. So now he want to be peaceful with everybody else and say everybody need to be peaceful with him and can't nobody strike out against him because of all the wickedness he did. So now he want everybody to live in peace when everybody else is like, look, bro, you done took everything from us and now your ass is grass now, you know? That's the time frame that we in now. The so-called white man is trying to be peaceful with everybody and so on and so forth. But now everybody's coming up against him. All right. It says, thou shalt be spoiled, and when thou Salakia, when thou shalt cease to spoil, we pretty much at that point now, he only want to get what? North Korea, Iran, and Russia, right? And China. All right. It says, when thou shalt make an end, and when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, Salakia, and when thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled. And when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee. And as you see, America trying to be so-called peaceful. We need to get rid of nuclear weapons and so on and so forth. Nah, on the other side, everybody's like, fuck that. Hey, strap up. Get the strap, homie. We finna go over here and wage war on them. We tired of your ass, right? So from there, let me grab another precept real quick. Okay. Zechariah 11:5. This is the book of Zechariah chapter 11, verse 5. It says, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. They sell them and say, blessed be Yahweh, for I am rich, for their own shepherds pity them not. Who says this to the T? This is so-called white man. This is verbatim what they say. All right. Who's possessing us? So-called white man is possessing us. And he's also the same person that's slaying us. All right. Whose possessors slay them. All right. The so-called white man is killing us and hold themselves not guilty. Now, we don't support the so-called Black Lives Matter movement and this and that, but nevertheless, why is there a movement like that has some kind of traction where they say Black Lives Matter? Y'all over here killing us down, all right? But the so-called white man say, no, we're not guilty. He had, you know, maybe a gun. He might have had a gun. We was in fear of our life. We didn't know what was going on. They holding themselves not guilty. They're not prosecuting them like that. You see what I'm saying? They getting off of, or if they are getting prosecuted, that's just for the show and tell on the news. They just move them to a different department or a different precinct, and it is what it is. You see what I'm saying? It says, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. And they that sell them say, blessed be Yahweh, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. Going again, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. My forefathers didn't have slaves. This is a fucking Jedi mind trick right here, right? Ask these so-called proud-ass white people about America. They're like, yeah, my forefathers fought for this land. They died for this land. They bled for this land. Then you flip and ask them, well, who did they fight for this land? Then they'll be sad to say, oh, no, my foreparents didn't genocide the Native Americans. That wasn't my foreparents. They didn't do that. Well, who the fuck was you fighting for this land? Who was challenging you for this here land? All right, it was the natives over here. Now, you can be like, oh, the French, the Spaniards, and the so on. Man, those are all Edomites. They had just stole those lands from those places as well, too. All right, but nevertheless, you come over here, all right, and you steal this here land, all right? But it says, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. Again, ask the so-called white man that's saying, oh, my parents fought for this here land and died for this land. Who did they fight? All right. And well, we do know that America was established off of slavery. So if your parents fought for this land and all that, America's history is not that long. You know what I'm saying? They've actually been a nation as you know it today for about what, 200 like 250 years, I believe, around that time, as you know America today. All right. The United States of America. But nevertheless, he'd be like, well, wait a minute. We're like, y'all, your foreparents was the ones, the so-called four founders of this here country, but they didn't have no slavery. But we do know that this country was built up off of slavery. So they'll tell you how proud they are about how their forefathers came over here and they fought for this land, they died for this land, they bled for this land. But yet they be like, well, no, my forefathers didn't have no slaves over here. You can't find not one soul over here that'll admit that, yeah, my foreparents had slaves here. Or yeah, it's a possibility my foreparents probably had slaves. Or yeah, I'm a descendant of slave owners here in America. None of them is gonna acknowledge that, but they all will acknowledge that they so-called foreparents came over here and fought for this land. This is their land because their foreparents came over here and fought for it. They're not gonna tell you who they had to murder and steal this land from, and who they had to enslave to build this here land up. All right, and then they also say, let me read verse 5 again. Zechariah 11:5, whose possessors, the so-called white man, murder us, slay them, and hold themselves not guilty. You see, they're not prosecuting themselves for murdering us and enslaving us and all that. You know, there's no statute of limitation on murder, but yet none of the so-called white people are being punished for lynching, killing, barbecuing none of us. None of these things taking us in slavery. None of them are being held accountable for none of these atrocities. None of them, nor their family, none of them. All right, and a lot of them got rich off of these atrocities, and yet they get to keep their riches. All right, but yet if you want to so-called how they say benefit from a criminal organization or crime or activity or something like that, like let's say you want to somebody rob a bank, right? Your homeboy rob a bank, right? He get $32 million. Homeboy decided to give you $2 million. You didn't rob the bank, but your boy gave you $2 million. You take this $2 million and you go and start you up a legitimate business. Right? You go start a legitimate business. You go construction. You start building houses, right? You doing everything legal. But you got your startup money from your boy who robbed it from the bank. The so-called white man be like, well, shit, you got that. You basically received stolen goods and basically established a business off of basically like a criminal enterprise. You know, homeboy over here robbing banks, and from that crime you was able to start up your business, right? You would go to jail for some shit like that nowadays today. But yet all these so-called white people like Wells Fargo, all this shit, all of these different things that you look around today, the police department, these are the slave patrol. That's where that shit comes from. That's the origins of your police departments. All right, insurance. The first object to be insured was the slaves. All right, coming over from on a slave trade. All right, this is where you get these damn companies come from. All right, the banking systems and things like that. This is all where all these shits come from. All right, it's all based up off of slavery. All right, but continuing on, it says, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. They that sell them say, blessed be Yahweh, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. This is another thing you hear the so-called white man say, like, well, look, your own people sold you into slavery. Your own people sold you into slavery. Well, why are you blaming me? Go blame them. They sold you into slavery. Again, here in America, they got a law about this. If me and my partner, right? I got a partner named Johnny, right? Johnny is a car thief. Johnny done went and stole him a goddamn Bugatti. Now, Johnny gave me the Bugatti, right? I didn't steal the Bugatti. Johnny stole the Bugatti. In fact, Johnny sold me the Bugatti, and I done bought this damn stolen Bugatti. I ain't know it was stolen. I just knew Johnny had a Bugatti and he wanted to sell it to me for $100. I bought it for $100. He gave me a receipt and everything. So in my mind, I'd have made a legal, transaction, whatever, whatnot. But they were like, well, wait a minute, you dealing in stolen goods. You done bought some stolen goods. In fact, they actually got laws like this. This is a law for Jake, because when the so-called white man do it, he'd be like, well, I didn't know it was stolen. I couldn't do nothing about it. They have cases like that where I seen a scenario where somebody was buying like iPads or Beats headphones, and somebody was stealing them from like the store where they were selling them from. And then they wound up selling them. And then this so-called white man he had his own little business where he was selling them, like, let's say on eBay. So he wound up buying it from the dude who stole it from the spot and wound up selling it. Well, he wound up getting caught, right? Now, when the things came down, he told him the story. Well, I didn't know it was stolen, whatever, whatnot. I just wound up buying it and reselling it. They let him keep the profits of the things that he was doing. He had quite a bit of these Beats headphones, I think it was. He got to keep all the profits of the things that he sold, all right? And then also he got to keep the rest of the stolen ones. They were like, well, he didn't know it was stolen. He was just, he spent his real legitimate money on a business transaction. But if Jake was to do that, we would go to jail for buying and dealing in stolen goods. All right. But the same thing here with the so-called white man. He says, blessed be Yahweh, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. Your own people sold you into slavery, when in reality, the Hamites, the so-called Africans, sold us into slavery. All right. It wasn't our own people. All right. But nevertheless, this is the so-called white man to the T. These are the things he say. All right. When we bring these here things up. All right. Let me grab a couple more precepts. Damn, we done went for a minute. All right, I'm gonna close out on this. This is well, I'm gonna bring one more. Exodus 21:16. It says, "He that stealeth a man and selleth him." All right. So if you steal a man, take him in captivity, or if you steal a man, all right. If you steal a man, you take him in captivity and you sell him, you're dealing in the slave trade. All right. If you've taken somebody in captivity and you selling them, i.e. the slave trade, you didn't just enslave somebody, you started selling slaves, right? He that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death. So like what? When we all stolen property, man. All right. You know, you got evidence of the crime right here, right now. As you go around and you look around in America, you see these so-called black people walking around. Every one of these goddamn so-called black people you see walking around, that's a how you say? That's a piece of stolen property, more or less to say. We was all taken into captivity, all right, and we was brought over here, all right. Our foreparents was brought over here, and we are the descendants of their kids, so we still, hey, the same deal going on, all right. You just passing it on down, all right. So what? We still in possession of the so-called white man, all right? I said I was going to close out, but I got a couple more precepts. Not Daniel. Jeremiah chapter 30 and 16. This is Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 16. Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thy adversaries, every one of them shall go into captivity. They that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all they that prey upon thee, I will give for a prey. So the so-called white man is going to have to wind up paying all this here back. For all the things he done to us, he devoured us, we're going to devour him. All right. And it says here, every one of them shall go into captivity. They that spoil thee shall be spoiled. All right. So let's go from there real quick to Isaiah 14 and 1. It says, Isaiah 14 and 1, for Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land, and strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave into the house of Jacob, talking about the foreigners of our people coming back into Israel. All right. Verse 2, and the people shall take them. The Israelites are going to take, we're going to get into who the them are, but the people is talking about the Israelites, and the them, which we'll get to. All right. It says the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of Yahweh for servants and handmaids. All right. So the Israelites are about to have slaves. All right. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. So the people who got us in captivity. All right. Revelation 13 and 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. And, you know, we'll close out there. That's what we hear patiently. And in faith, that's what we here patiently waiting on, and that's what we have faith is going to happen. And the Most High is going to take these Edomites and put them in and give them unto us for a possession. All right. I said I was going to close out there, but Psalms 2 and 8. It says, "Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thy inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession." All right. So this is what we're going to get in the kingdom of heaven. The number one thing we're going to be getting over here, besides salvation, you know what I'm saying, is what? Human resources. All right. We're going to have slaves, and they're going to wind up doing everything for us that we done to them. All right. So with that, we're going to go ahead and close out. Lord willing, this here lesson was edifying unto the elect. Salakia for the long lesson, but hey, just going through the spirit. All right. So until next time, I say, call halal Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of great millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, Akim, pushing this truth and sincerity in the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Until next time, I say stay strong and shalom.